Welcome to the unit on regression, correlation and hypothesis testing, measuring correlation. The objectives for this session are to interpret the product moment correlation coefficient. Before beginning this unit, do check that you can calculate the product moment correlation coefficient R on your calculator. In this session, we're going to focus on the interpretation of R for a set of bivariate data. Let's now take a look at some examples of bivariate data. If the points follow a straight line exactly and the line slopes from left to right downwards, then we have R equal to -1 and we have perfect negative linear correlation. If the points go from left to right downwards, but they're not on the straight line and are loosely following the pattern of a straight line, then we may have R in the region of -0.3 and we have negative linear correlation. If there is no pattern whatsoever, then we have R equal to 0 approximately, and we have no linear correlation. Conversely, if the points slope upwards from left to right in the pattern of a straight line, then we may have R in the region of 0.8 and we have positive linear correlation. If we have all the points lying exactly on a straight line, sloping upwards from left to right, then we have R equal to 1 and perfect positive linear correlation. Notice that the closer R is to -1, the stronger the negative correlation is. And the closer R is to +1, the stronger the positive correlation is. Linear regression analysis is used to predict the value of a variable based on the value of another variable. The variable we want to predict is put on the y-axis and is called the dependent variable. And the variable we use to predict is placed on the x-axis and is called the independent variable. Linear regression analysis is suitable if the data points lie close to a straight line. Let's now take a look at an example. Pause the video and have a go. Press play when you're ready to view the solutions. So let's take a look at this example. The daily wind speed W knots and the daily maximum gust G knots were recorded for last year in August in Flu. The data is shown in the table. We are required to calculate the product moment correlation coefficient for the data and then comment on the suitability of a linear regression for this data. Before we begin, let's illustrate the data. The data should look something like this. Notice that all the points are following the pattern of a straight line, not exactly, but they are quite close. So we would expect R to be quite close to +1, since the line is sloping upwards from left to right. Let's solve part A first. Using your calculator, you should get R equal to approximately 0.956. Now let's take a look at part B. Since R is close to 1, there is a strong positive correlation between the two variables. And this means that the data points lie close to a straight line. And therefore, a linear regression model is suitable here. This brings us to the end of this session. If you have understood its contents, you should be able to interpret the product moment correlation coefficient and use a calculator to calculate it. Thank you very much for listening. To understand this topic in greater depth, do attempt the exercises in your textbook related to this topic.